Hey guys, welcome to Farworld Pioneers. You like survival games, right? They tickle that part of your brain and give you the happy chemicals. Made on the Unity engine, it's from the publisher Tiny Build and developers Igloosoft. You know Tiny Build, right? The Hello Neighbor guys? The I don't know what's going on here but I'm a doctor, Pathologic 2 guys? In Farworld Pioneers, you and your buddy, crash land on an unknown, Earth-like alien world. Time to gather some sticks and stones, build a house out of mud and survive, right? Well, yeah, but here's the kicker to this one. Colonists. It's been described as the love child of Starbound, Terraria and RimWorld all rolled up into one with some of the devs from these games. And similarly to RimWorld, one of the game's main features is building up a big colony, giving them some tasks to do, items to process and craft, while sure away giving the native fauna and flora a very warm shakedown for their items. So, what's the deal with the story? For now, it's not all that fleshed out. It is a demo after all, but once you start a new game, you'll come to next to a crashed escape pod on a planet similar to Earth, with familiar Starbound-like vibes. From there, your buddy gives you some basic tips and goals to work towards before the sun goes down and Minecraft zombies come to eat your kneecaps. Well, this planet's versions of animals come to eat you anyway. Once you get your base all set up and put down a research bench, Buddy tells you to go check out a nearby cave system that's giving off some strange signals. You do reach the end of the current story once you go down there, but it's pretty exciting when you reach that point. And you can still continue playing after that, which is nice. I expected it to kind of just cut to the main menu or be like a limited timed demo, but the ability to continue playing without restrictions after that is really a nice feature. Doesn't leave a bad taste in your mouth. For now it seems as though the players randomly generated anybody. They don't seem to require sleep, but they do require food and warmth to survive, and depending on your choice of clothes, or lack therefore of, you'll be getting feedback on how warm you are. Try not to freeze your butt off, okay? Wrap up warm or else you'll catch a cold. And as long as your belly is full, you'll slowly regenerate health. If you don't, well, you'll start to hear your tummy rumbles, and some of the weaker colonists will probably start looking like a chicken dinner. The only thing we know for certain is Buddy is your buddy and you've known him for a long time. If you are to meet an unfortunate and untimely demise, you'll bear witness to the Dark Souls-like death screen and drop your current inventory, then pretty much respawn as someone else by the looks of it. So this begs the question, are you the same person or someone else? Is there some story reason behind your ability to reform from the dead, or is it just a gameplay mechanic? And also, I got curious and checked. You only drop your backpack when you expire. There's no old body to find and bury. That'd be kinda strange though. I'm sure you've seen it. The graphics are nice and simple. A colourful pixel-based palette with enough detail on most items to guess their use at a glance. The UI does a good enough job of showing you what to do and how to do it. As for the character design, I think it's great. At one point I did think my character's hands were bugged because they were white, and then it just turns out he's wearing a set of gloves. But I still think one of my favourite things in the game is the mining. Whenever you're mining a piece of metal ore, sparks fly off, creating flashes of light, which pretty much help to locate other pieces of nearby ore. See, you know a game is designed for fun and not to be too punishing to enjoy, when things like the hostile mobs have glowing eyes at night, and you don't really need a torch to see in the dark. And combine that with the grappling system I'll be mentioning soon enough. It makes for some pretty fun mining trips. So, similar to Starbound and Terraria and most of those games, this game features WASD movement. You can run left, right, you can press down to duck and spacebar to jump, like most games. This one has a few little neat tricks though I quite like. If you're running in a direction for a while, your character speeds up for a moment or two. And other things here, if you're running and you press down, your character does a power slide. Which I know doesn't seem all that revolutionary, but you'll see why it's cool. And also, as you notice directly above me is a ladder. And colonists can use ladders too as well, so you don't need to build like a platform staircase kind of thing. But yeah, you can fit through one by one gaps in this game. You can power slide under gaps in this game. You can climb down the ladders, and you can slide back out, right back to where we were before. So that's one really cool movement feature I quite like, but there's still more. If you jump onto any sort of block, your character can grab onto it. You can then jump on top of it. Whilst you're grabbing onto it, you can point your gun. You can use other items and all that. If you want to eat whilst you're hanging on for your life, you can as well. If you look, you can jump in that direction as well, and then you can squeeze through it like that. And yeah, just a wide range of movements that can help you get around. And I'm excited to see what dungeons use these kind of movements, and what kind of player housing uses these kind of movements. Because it's pretty cool how you can do all that stuff. In other games you might need a double jump, maybe a grappling hook you made out of gemstone, but in this game your character doesn't need fancy things like that. Combat is simple enough, but also pretty satisfying. If you have a melee weapon, you pretty much swing it at the thing you want to defeat, but you're bound to take some hits. The safer, more fun choice is to have a gun and some bullets to avoid any melee attacks. Every weapon I've come across has been made with love. Even though they're tiny little pixel weapons, you can tell special care has been made to give them genuine and believable reload animations. One interesting tasty reward from combat is how enemies don't just poof out of existence when they're defeated. They're bodies left behind, which you can lift and carry about. With humans, you can rifle through their pockets for anything they had. With animals, you can carry them to a butchering station and harvest items from them, or do it in the field with a knife. And before you even think about it, yes, I did try and bring a human body to one of those tables. The result is not that kind of game. Well, you can't fault me for trying though. However, you can always roleplay out the idea of giving your colonists, or even enemies, a proper burial and farewell. I did something like that before in Project Zomboid. I had to mute myself after burying a friend because it hit just a little weirdly hard, if you catch my drift. Basically, I started to cry my eyes out. I don't know why. The music in-game is great. It's no real surprise since the composer is Fail Positive, a video game music composer. The game randomly just decides it's time for some nice calming music, and it puts on a track that feels fitting. One of my favourite songs sounds like steel pan drum and reminds me of Minecraft. Sound design on pretty much everything in this game feels great. From chopping some wood, mining some dirt, tunneling through rocks and stones, to shooting guns with a really satisfying bang and enjoyable reload sounds, to the ambience of rain, footsteps, and the all-important cue sounds, like colonists becoming alerted and the hostile animal sounds they make when they attack. They all do the job well and are a real treat to hear. Maybe it's just because it's a demo or a gameplay choice, but for now, all weapons draw from the same pool of ammo when you reload. Every shotgun, energy pistol, revolver, and assault rifle, they all pull from the same generic ammunition type of round. Kinda reminds me of the ammo piles from Left 4 Dead, to be honest. And partway through the gameplay, I learned that using the drill on trees would only drop sticks. You see, I figured going from pickaxe to drill was going to be like a straight upgrade in the hunt for faster resource gathering. It was not. Instead, I got bundles and bundles of sticks. Nothing really wrong with that, but I did need full logs, so I went back to basics using an axe. So I think that's neat enough that if you use the intended tool, you get more resources. I also kind of like how the trees fall. It reminds me of Starbound. I'm gonna say this right off the bat. This colony system gives me motherly vibes caring for the little goobers. The colonists aren't very talkative and will happily join you when you ask them. All they ask for in return for their undying loyalty is a warm place to rest and a daily bit of food to munch on. Once those basic needs are met, they'll happily do any automated task you require. You drop items, they play fetch. You request an item be made, they'll leg it over to the stockpile that has it, grab what's needed and craft it. You build something that needs a bit of construction, they'll come running with a welding torch to help speed up the process. You drag in some local game, you make the butcher's day, and the chef's day, and the hungry colonist's day who eats it. Each colonist spawns with a random look, name, skill set, along with traits both good and bad. So look, it's not all peaches and cream. The game is still a demo, so it does have a little few flaws, and I feel like mentioning them here would be helpful. So the first and foremost, the biggest flaw I came across whilst playing the game was distance and lack of a fast travel. I wasn't able to find out if there's any like teleporters in the game, but essentially I ran across 5 biomes, then got a little notice to say my base was under attack from raiders, and by the time I got back, all my colonists were long gone, and it sucked because I basically had to start from not really nothing. For some reason they didn't steal any items, they were literally there just to kill the survivors. Strange. Next thing then is storage. You can make stockpiles, but there's no button to kind of organize them automatically. You gotta do that yourself. I'd kind of like it if there was a, sort by item type button, so you could quickly sort out armors from clothes, from raw materials to processed goods and things like that, just so you can quickly stick them all into separate stockpiles. One huge thing I kind of ran into, which kind of annoyed me a bit, was guns and bullets. I gave all my unarmed colonists a weapon each fully loaded, and it looked great. Anything that dangerous that went near my base, they'd all gun it down and then happily like butcher it and all this good stuff. I was kind of hoping they'd run to the stockpile to grab ammunition, but they're not smart enough to do that yet, I don't think. So you have to manually give each of your colonists a ration of ammunition, and yeah, I know it's not a huge thing, but still, like, I got 8 colonists and I gotta divvy up 8 lots of ammo for them all. I think I'd just prefer if they all ran to the stockpile, grabbed ammo when they needed it. One major bug which did actually cause my first death, as you'd seen, the ammo kind of reloader just got stuck, and I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to in the middle of combat, but it did, and it did cost me my first death. So yeah, I've enjoyed my time with this game. Sure, it's the sandbox crafting survival game, but I kinda dig the colony simulation part of the game. It's got a lot of charm and potential. I like that feature because once you get everything set up, it does pretty much let you go off and do your own thing, gather the next important resource, or explore the map. I half wonder when the game is fully made and released, will we be able to visit other worlds? Set up trade routes between established colonies to share resources? Will I be able to set up an improvised hive world? Get it so complicated I don't want to touch it anymore for fear it breaks apart and everyone stops living? Only time will tell. The demo should still be available to download off of Steam. If not, it is planned to release next month in February. Thanks all for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and before I sign off, I just want to mention how I tried to work things out with the planet's local raider population, and after 0.1 seconds of trying, I figured I'd just use the raider methods too, and I leveled their entire camp flat, stole all their stuff and tore down their crummy little base, and maybe salted the earth just a little bit. That's for hurting Mummy's little goobers. Hey, who's to say I'm supposed to be the good girl here? We're trying to survive too, you know. Thanks for watching, Hatters, and thanks to my Patreons. This was my first attempt at doing a game review video, so let me know how I did in the comments. I will of course go back to the usual stuff. I just wanted to challenge myself, and I feel like I did pretty good. So thanks, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.